Church, this sword can only be used on you or on demonic forces. It cannot be used on other people. I'm gonna say that again. You could use one side on you. You could use another side of demonic forces, but you cannot use the sword on people. Hear your pastor today. If you try to use the sword on people, you end up operating in witchcraft. Let's go back to our story. We're in Luke 22, but it's also found in the Gospels of Matthew and John. This is the story where Jesus is about to get arrested or is getting arrested. The timeline and setup to this is Jesus calls his disciples to him. For 3 years, he performs more miracles than any books in the world could ever note. He's traveling throughout Israel, the Holy Land. He's ministering, he's teaching about the kingdom, he's healing people. And he begins to tell his disciples that he's gonna be arrested and suffer at the hands of the Romans and is gonna suffer many things. You remember the story where when Jesus is teaching this, Peter says, "No, Lord, this can't happen to you." And Jesus said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan. You're an offense unto me." Jesus was saying, "Peter, put your sword away." He goes and they have the Last Supper. He washes the disciples' feet. After the Last Supper, he goes to Gethsemane to pray. And there he's praying. And right after he's in Gethsemane, all of a sudden, he sees one of his disciples with a group of soldiers coming to arrest him. In verse 47, it says this, that the leaders who came with him, there was a large crowd with Judas. Watch this. Just because they have a large crowd with them doesn't mean that they love Jesus. Verse 47. Just because there's a large following to them doesn't mean they love the word. Be careful in this season who you're allowing to speak into your life. YouTubers are not pastors. They're not praying over your souls. They're not fasting on behalf of you and your family. They're not seeking the Lord how to lead you, how to lead a community, and how to engage in a city. Be careful who you are allowing to spiritually lead you. Judas is leading a group of soldiers to arrest Jesus. Now watch, Jesus has already told his disciples over and over, I'm gonna be arrested. This is a part of my plan. This is why I came. He already told Peter, get behind me. Put that sword away. But Peter sees Jesus coming and he pulls out his sword. Remember, the sword is only for you or for demonic forces. And he takes his sword and he cuts off a man's ear trying to defend Jesus. And Jesus said, stop. The sword is not for your brother. The sword is not for your enemy. Peter, you can use the sword on yourself and cut that flesh that's still on you that Satan has seized. Or you can use that sword by demonic forces. Look at this. But you can't use the sword on people. Jesus reaches down and he grabs the man's ear in one translation. Another one says he just touched his ear. Watch. And the word touched the man. Watch. And the word healed the wounded man. Do you know every time you use your sword on someone else, that Jesus has to come behind you and heal what you just hurt?